Well, hello, all you wonderful people out there in YouTube land. Welcome to the Texas Special YouTube channel. And for this week's O-scale, or excuse me, O-gauge rather, product review, we're going to be taking a look at this Lionel number 6-19675 Model Shop Window Mint car. Number 2 with Norfolk and Western J-Class steam locomotive and tender. Alright, so some of the technical attributes of this car. It has die-cast sprung trucks with operating couplers, a stamped sheet metal frame and separately applied brake wheel, detailed molded body, features a little oversized for in scale, but purportedly in scale, 1 inch equals 160 inches on the prototype. Lionel big rugged trains, Norfolk and Western J-Class locomotive and tender. The body is molded plastic. The frame, as I said, stamped sheet metal. The trucks are die cast and they are sprung. This car is intended to operate on curvature as tight as 0.27. So, again, if you're a regular viewer and you're a regular O-gauge viewer and you've been in the hobby for a minute, bear with me. I'm planning on doing this every single video. For those of you that are new to O-gauge trains, or those of you that are unfamiliar with O-gauge trains and you're just kind of curious about what it's all about, in 3-rail O-gauge, we measure curvature of the track in terms of circumference of a circle rather than radius like the 2-rail guys do. So, in 2-rail speak, that would be a 23 and a half inch radius curve. So there is no curvature of track commercially available on the market for O-gauge that this car will not run on. Now granted, I said it's good for 0.27. That means the 0.72 curves of the South Texas Railroad's Main Line 1 are going to be absolutely zero problem for this car. I don't have any 0.27 track, not anymore. Otherwise I would run it on a loop of 0.27. With the technical stuff out of the way, let's take a look at the actual car itself. So you see, you have a molded safe door with latch and a cast-on handle. You have lots of cast-on detailing. These are, I'm not sure how well you can see it, but those are actually molded curtains that are molded in a rolled-up position. These windows are plastic. You have these cast-on grab irons, as well as cast on ladder, full height ladder. There's another cast on full height ladder on this back corner over here where my pointer is. The car is molded in this beige colored plastic, and the roof is actually painted. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that the roof is cast in the same color. The roof and the body are one solid mold. You can see the friction bearing type trucks along with the springs. The car is sprung, and you can clearly see the Norfolk and Western J-Class Northern inside the car. Now, quick caveat, it's supposed to be attached some kind of way. I'm assuming glue or screws. It ain't attached, it's just kind of in there and flopping around. This is a second-hand acquisition. This is not my car. This belongs to Mr. Ethan Tate of the Texas Model Railroad Club. Now, getting back on track, pun intended. You have this nice little Lionel L logo here and here. You have the silhouette of the Norfolk and Western J-Class Northern, LMS 644502, the car number, which is actually the product number minus the 6, built by Lionel, 2001. And over here you also have the Norfolk and Western J-Class number 600. So all of the lettering on this car is legible without the aid of a magnifying glass, another built-in benefit of O-gauge trains. And it's very nicely done. There's a little bit of flaking here where you can see the rivet detail. Well, you may not be able to see it, but I can. The rivet detailing kind of cracking the decal on the silhouette of the tender, and also here on this 4 and here on this 6. But other than that, it looks pretty well done, pretty solid. The good wrapping around the raised edges of the rivet detailing. If we look at the B end of this car, now remember, most freight cars, it's the key word there, most freight cars have an A end and a B end. Now the B end designates that is the end of the car that has the handbrake and brake and air brake apparatus attached to it. The A end is just the plain end of the car. Very, very rarely are you going to have an A and a B end that look so completely dissimilar. I actually feel the need to show you the A end in addition to the B end. So if you don't see the A end in any of these videos, then you know that it looks identical to the B end of the car without the handbrake wheel and brake apparatus and all that other stuff. So you have a waybill board here. You have the separately applied metal handbrake as advertised. You have a little brakeman's perch. You have the chain detailing here and rod. You've got lots of nice rivet detailing. This kind of vent looking deal here. A full height ladder, which corresponds with the location of the full height ladder on the side of the car. And you can see very clearly the operating magnetic knuckle coupler. Now, this car is meant to utilize this little disc here, which almost looks like a thumbtack. That's why I call it thumbtack style. This metal disc is meant to be pulled down by the electromagnet of a Lionel uncoupling track section or similar product. If you do not have a Lionel uncoupling track section or similar product, you can use this little tab right here on the side of the knuckle of the body of the coupler, push down on it, and you can manually open the knuckle. Right here you see there are some little metal tabs kind of poaching out the side of the end of the car. Those are half of the securement system that keeps the body of the car attached to the frame of the car. You have polling pockets cast onto the corner of the car body, and that's pretty much everything we have going on this end of the car. Now I will show you real quick. On the A end of the car, you have this little hatch that's not present on the B end of the car. This is one of those rare occurrences where the A end and the B end are dissimilar enough that I personally feel the need to show it off. In addition, you also have a little Phillips head screw right here. This is the other half of the system that keeps, very simplified system, that keeps the car body attached to the car frame. Again, you have the polling pockets, magnetic knuckle coupler, this little vent detail, loads of rivet detailing, and the full height ladders that correspond with one another. Flipping this car over, we look at the roof and you see that there are a lot of little hatches on the car. Now that is because this car, if you are unfamiliar with Lionel trains, Lionel makes what's called aquarium cars. Now they're called aquarium cars because one of the big things with their cars is, they have a roll here and a roll here, and around those rolls is spun a thin film with various different styles of images printed on them. Some are parades, some are holiday sleigh ride scenes, But the big thing which gives them their name is aquarium style themes. So you have little fishies and whatnot that are made to look like they're swimming around inside the car. That's why you have these hatches up top. That's why you have the little hatch over here and also the vents on each end of the car, because these Mint cars share the same basic tooling and design as Lionel's aquarium cars, which I hope to take a look at some of those probably next year. You have a brakeman's walkway along the top of the car, and you have cast on grab irons in each corner of the walkway that correspond with the location of the full height ladders of the car. Now, the walkway itself is molded in a see-through grate type pattern, but it is cast on to the body of the car, and you do have lots of intricate little rivet detailing along each of the panels of the roof of the car. And finally, if we take a look at the underside of the car, there's the issue. The screw for the tender fell off, came out, so the tender's flopping around, but the locomotive's in place. Good to know. You see, there is no underframe detailing on this thing to speak of whatsoever. You do, however, get a good view of the truck-mounted magnetic knuckle couplers. So, as I mentioned, this car was offered by Lionel in the 2001 catalog. Mint cars are not a new thing for Lionel. Neither are aquarium cars. And this car is a pretty cool little thing, and while I like it and I respect it, it's not really something that I personally would go out of my way to try and find and buy. I mean, if I found one for a really good deal, I would probably scoop it out just for giggly purposes, but I tend to like the high dollar scale type stuff a lot more. I mean, the only way I would get something like this would be if my son saw it at a train show and just absolutely fell in love. But I am done with the boring talky part of this, and even though I know these 072 curves are not going to be a problem whatsoever, let's couple up the New York Central 080 and send this guy around the railroad.